Coming to you live from an undisclosed location deep in the heart of cold and snowy American flyover country. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, under the radar, but over the top. And as always, tonight is another one of those nights. We're going to be looking at a story reported, a new survey, a new research document out that says that anxiety is the bigger concern for teens than drugs or poverty. Actually, anxiety is right now, according to these teens surveyed, the biggest concern for the youths of America. Stressed out, anxiety, a bigger concern for teens than drugs or poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you saw today the great show we did about Alberto Rivera. If you know who that is and you believe in him, you better watch it because you're being played really, really hard. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this. Let's get into it. I have kids who are not teens anymore. I have kids who are well past their teens. I do have grandchildren, though, that will be coming up and will be teens. So this is of concern to me. And this is being reported by Axios.com. And you can see it was a rather in-depth study. And it shows that the percentage of teens saying the following is a problem for their age in their community. You see things like gangs, teen pregnancy, poverty, drinking alcohol, drug addiction, bullying. And at the very top, ladies and gentlemen, anxiety and depression. Anxiety and depression, the biggest problem self-identified by teens in the United States of America today. They're more likely to say that stress and anxiety were of major concern for them and their peers, more than drug addiction, more than bullying, more than poverty, in this by the Pew Research Center. So a very reputable, they get it right probably as much as anybody else gets it right. Interesting, though. And it's also the American Psychological Association has weighed in and said that they're growing up in a world of publicized mass shootings, dire climate change warnings, poor economic futures without a college degree, and extreme political partisanship. And they're more stressed about those things than adults overall, according to the APA. I say, and you can quote me on that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's obvious that at least the teens in this survey are very, very filled with stress. They're very, very filled with anxiety. And it is a major concern not only to the teens, but to the people that have teens in their lives. But I think it's so easy for us to say, and it's so easy to point the finger at the things that the media wants to identify, the mainstream or the lamestream media wants to identify as the problems. Oh, it's because of mass public shootings. And of course, those things do cause anxiety for all of us. It's climate change. It's poor economic futures without a college degree. Well, guess what? Just because you have a college degree doesn't mean you're not going to have a poor economic future. In fact, you're much better off with a skill than you are with a degree, but we're not going to go down that road today. And extreme political partisanship, I don't think that kids care about that or think about that. And I don't think they're more stressed about these things than adults. I think that the American Psychological Association is very stressed because their believability is plummeting. So what do I think? Well, that's probably why you're here, because you do in some way care what I think or interested in what I think. But I hope that you're here because what I say helps you think. And if we think about it, ladies and gentlemen, teens today list anxiety, they list depression as their major concern. Well, is it really that big of a surprise when for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 years, we've been conditioning them to believe that they're from their first breath born with original sin, and unless they make radical changes in their life and live under stress every day of it, they're going to wind up in a place called hell burning in fire forever. That can cause some anxiety, ladies and gentlemen. That can cause some depression, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that the perpetuation of the fear and guilt control matrix and passing it on to our children may be a major factor, a major contributing factor to teen anxiety and teen depression. However, I think that's probably not correct, but I just wanted to throw it out there to give you both sides of the story. Even when I'm making a new story, I want to give you both sides of it. That's how thorough I am. I've learned from the best, like Rocky Stucci. We try to cover all the angles. Even if we're making up the angles, we're helping you cover all of the angles that we're creating. That's what you call service to humanity, ladies and gentlemen. I am, above all things, a humanitarian. And that's a good cup of coffee. Mark Center saying hits on something that we'll talk about maybe a little bit later. Maybe these delicate flowers are so anxious and so depressed because it's an everybody gets a trophy world they grow up in, and they find out that that's not really the world, period. So what I think, in addition to what Mark Centersane has identified, is these kids have grown up in a world of a fear and guilt control matrix. They've grown up in a world dominated by Western religion, Western politics, and they're finding out that it's all a bunch of crap. They're finding out that the God that they've been taught about is a lie. They're finding out that the political systems they've been raised to respect are stupid. And they're finding out that the parents that they thought had all the answers don't have a clue. They're lost without a rudder. They're up that you know what kind of creek without a paddle and a leak in the boat. And the biggest problem, I think, is they are growing up in a world where they know that religion is a failure, and too many of them are thinking that, ergo, God is a failure. They're living in a world now that they can't find any solid foundation in. They're living in a world now, Tracy Dyer, where they can't find anything to rely on. They're singing that song, "Give Me Something to Believe In." They can't believe in God because he's been proven phony. They can't believe in themselves because they're nothing but dirty, rotten sinners. They can't believe in their parents because they don't have a clue. And they can't believe in their country because it's a wreck. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can just keep doing what we're doing, it'll all get better. Why? If we can keep reminding people, keep reminding our youths of America, keep reminding the young people that they're divine, they're sovereign, and they're free. Keep reminding them that they're not filled with original sin, but they have the spark of divinity within. And I just got a spark that says, I need to reach out to some young people and try to get young people involved in this channel and try to get some young content producers on this channel so we can begin to get the message of the Christian whistleblower, the message of divinity, sovereignty, and freedom out to the younger generation. So we can get the message of the fear and guilt control matrix out to a younger generation. We can give them something to believe in themselves, because that's where the empowerment comes. That's when the anxiety drops away, when you realize, hey, I got this. It may be rough, but I'm rougher. It may be tough, but I'm tougher. Things may be messed up, but I'm not messed up. And it's the old adage, when things get tough, the tough get going. We need to remind our teens today, they've got what they need. We need to remind our teens today, they don't have to be under the circumstances. They can be over the circumstances. We need to remind our teens today, they don't got to worry about going under because they're going over. We got to remind our teens it doesn't matter if religion is a failure because the divinity is real and you are divine. You are sovereign. You are free. And you can say, see ya to the fear and guilt control matrix. You want an answer to anxiety? Find out you're divine, sovereign, and free. You want an answer to depression? Find out you're divine, sovereign, and free. You want an answer to all these problems? Find out that it's a fear, guilt, control matrix, and you got the key to break out, cousins. I don't know what they need, but I think if they got those three things, those four things, if they know they're divine, they know they're sovereign, they know they're free, they know it's a fear and guilt control matrix, and they've got the key, something tells me they're going to be okay, but it's none of my business. I'm just a dummy on YouTube. I don't know, folks, but I don't think it's that complicated. In fact, I'm sure it's not. Because, hey, let's face it. If guys like me and Rocky Stucci can figure it out, it ain't that complicated, folks. You're divine. You're sovereign. You're free. You're living in a fear and guilt control matrix, but you've got the key to set yourself free. Free from depression, free from fear, free from guilt, free from control, and free from anxiety. Stressed out? Anxiety a bigger concern for you than drugs or poverty? I don't care if you're young or old, black, white, yellow, beige. What other colors are people? Really, really, really blue, black. I don't care what you are, who you are, where you are. Realize you're divine. Realize you're sovereign. Realize you're free. Realize you don't have original sin within, but you've got the spark of divinity within. Realize you're interfering in guilt control matrix, and realize you've got the key to set yourself free. Anxiety goes away. Stress goes away. When you get busy trying to change the world, cousin, you ain't got time for anxiety. When you get busy trying to change the world, cousin, you ain't got time for stress. I don't care if you're an old man like me and Stucci, or a young person like these Utes that are concerned about anxiety and depression. We got the answer. The answer is love yourself, love your neighbor as yourself. I didn't invent it, but we're bringing sexy back, ladies and gentlemen. And who better to bring back sexy than Rocky Stucci, right? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Tomorrow night, speaking of sexy, we'll have Scotty Roberts, the Consequential Rapscallions. Shut up. It's Rocky Stucci coming up very soon on a monthly basis. Check out the show I did today with Halo. Check out the show on Alberto Rivera. We've got the scintillating conclusion to the Psalm 82, our kenosis, the pre-Adamite world, 6, the number of man. Boom! Jama, you're right. Your sexy never left. And neither did mine, and neither did yours. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't remember anything today, remember you're sexy, and you're divine, and you're sovereign, and you're free. And you're free of this guilt and control matrix. As soon as you put in that key, boop, turn it, you're out. Don't be anxious. Don't be depressed. Just get yourself in line with the message of divinity, sovereignty, and freedom. And you'll find out that this message sets you free and free indeed. You'll find out this message gives you life and life more abundant. And this message gives you peace, and peace that passes all understanding. Get into this YouTube channel. Look at some of these videos, and if it don't make you feel good, your feel-gooder is busted. I promise you. Or I'm not Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, helping you get divine, get sovereign, get free, helping you unindoctrinate yourself. Be your own guru, guide your own spirit, master your own ascension. Hope is still alive, and it's alive in you. Remember, Jeffrey Daugherty, Christian Whistleblower, told you that. And until next time, you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. You're in a guilt and control matrix, but you hold the key. Turn it!